Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I am so excited to share with you my first week of plans. This is going to be a little more vlog style than my typical videos. If you're new here, I'm Rachel Vincent and I am a fourth grade teacher in South Carolina, and I am planning for my 22nd first week of school. And I am so excited to share it with you guys. What I think I'm most excited about sharing with you is the fact that I actually have these plans and resources in my TPT store to actually share with you. Normally when I share my first week of school, teachers have asked, and I've linked what I've used in other places, but this is brand new, sorta. There's a lot of activities that I'm doing that are similar that I've always done, but it's a theme. We're doing a candy theme all week. I have an adventure theme as well, but it all ties in to the things you want to teach the first week of school with community and leadership and team building and procedures and all those things all wrapped into one. And I have it available to share with you, and I'm so excited to do that. So I went back and forth on how I wanted to share, if I wanted to make it like a plan with me, but because it was brand new or different than what I'm used to, I decided to plan off screen and then just share with you what I've done. So I have the actual lesson plan completed, and then I have slides that go with it. And so I'll share both, but we'll mostly kind of hang out on the slides because it's visually better to look at. I don't have any of the physical copies. I did all of the copying for our team at the end of last year. I have a few things that I just created as far as to sell it on TPT that I can share with you guys, but I will share it all on the computer. So we're going to spend a lot of time on my computer today. Let's look over at the lesson plans. Our first week of school is a 5-day week. So this is 5 days worth of plans. I put it in the format that my team normally uses. We do timestamps, but it's very fluid and flexible. I just think it's easier to, instead of being like, oh, this is supposed to take 30 minutes, to just look at the clock and see, okay, I need to try and stretch this out or shorten this up. Anyway, so I have linked the slideshow for each day, and then I broke down what we're doing each day. I tried to share a little bit more than I would because I have 2 brand new teachers on our team this year. I have it all broken down, plus I include a link to the pages that we're doing, even though they already will have it printed if for some reason they need to print more, or sometimes it has not a coloring page, but sometimes it has an answer key if they need it. That's there. And then if there's a read aloud I also included the YouTube link in case a teacher doesn't have the book. They will still be able to watch it. But all of this is all linked in the slides too. So technically my teammates will not have to even look at it. They can just go through the slides. I know not everybody likes to teach from slides, so just in case they don't want to use the slides, it's all linked in here, and I just made it really easy for my teammates. So I have all of day 1 completed, and then I have day 2. As you can see here, we do have some Leader in Me 7 habits type things. So this is not included in the lesson plans I have on TPT, but everything else is. And so it pretty much, they all follow the same format where there's some sort of morning work. Then we have what we call our SEAL time, that's our mascot, but it's essentially morning meeting time. Then we have a little bit of Leader in Me tied into our morning meeting time. Then we do a read aloud with some sort of activity. Then we have restroom breaks, snacks, some sort of group. Is that the group activities? It just depends each day what kind of activity happens. We have our related arts, music, PE, those types of things. And then typically we go into math, recess, and lunch. However, the first day of school, because you need more time to teach the procedures of lunch and recess and things like that, we don't get to math that day. And dismissal starts a little earlier that day for our littles to get them where they need to be. And then after recess and lunch, we do a writing activity and then sort of a community activity, and then we wrap up our day. So that pretty much follows the same format for Wednesday, Thursday. Don't worry, I'm going to show you a little more detail on the slides. And then Friday. At the bottom of our slides, I have extra things in case things take longer, or not take longer, don't take quite as much time as I originally planned for it, or something happens to where you aren't going to related arts that day or indoor recess. I included some extra read aloud, some extra activities, and then extra worksheets. And a lot of these are some of the older stuff we use. So this is not included in the plans either, because it's like, this is somebody else's TPT product. These are, I think, somebody else's TPT product. So obviously I don't have those. Now let's look at the slideshows. So I'm going to show you, I have them for all 5 days, and you do get the slides, and it comes in an editable Canva template. So you can completely edit everything on the slides. You will need a pro account, and you can get a free pro account as an educator. You just have to verify that you're an educator to get the free account. So these are the templates. I have customized it already that I'm going to show you for my team. So the only thing you probably won't have is I've already included like some of our procedures. So that wouldn't be in the ones you get. Everybody's procedures are different at your schools. I've already started creating my own personal ones for day one, because obviously we also do different things in our classrooms. The link in the plans leads to the template. So when it is time, like I've already done slide 1 for myself, but when it's time for me to make sure I'm ready for slide or day 2, it'll take you and you'll just edit. Well, it says edit the template because I own it, but you would make a copy of the template. Okay, let me show you what we're doing for day 1, or what I'm doing. Obviously, again, it will be a little bit different for my teammate. Okay, the wonderful thing about Canva, if you've never used Canva before, you can go back and look at some of my videos from June. I did a bunch of Canva tutorials and how to get access to the pro account for educators. Everything is editable in Canva. So if you are not a fan of the color scheme, you could change the color scheme. I mean, it's a lot extra work on yourself, but you absolutely can. Or if you don't like the clip art, you can change that. So when you get it, it will say welcome to 4th grade, but if you teach 3rd or 5th, then you can change, you'll just edit it. And what I did include in the copy you get is in notes. It will, if you click on the notes, it will tell you what to do for each slide. So edit to fit your grade level. And when you get to this one, it gives you some so on yours, I've already changed it to quiet signal, but it just says procedures. So, but all of it's editable. So you do whatever you want to do. So you can see, I just duplicated this slide to get what I want. So there's a little bit of help here as far as in the notes of how to edit it. So there's a morning message with what they'll have on their desk. On their desk, I don't have a picture of that in the slides, but they will get a 4th grade a Suite coloring page. I think I copied this big one, and then a word search. So I usually always start with a coloring page and a word search for the first day of school, morning work. And then I'm going to go into teaching our quiet signal. I have 2. I do a doorbell, and the doorbell is really a transition signal. It just means put everything away. We're doing something else. And then a countdown is when if they're working and I just need to say something. And then I will teach them what a visionary is. And this is the cute little character that ChatGPT created for me. And so I actually have a printout of him that I'm going to hang on our whiteboard. So he's going to be like our little mascot this year. And then I'm going to teach or share about myself. So I have my nieces and nephews up here. And these are frames so that you can just drag and drop any picture that you upload right into there. So for instance, this is just a screenshot I took somewhere else. You just drag it right in there and it'll show up. So then again, this says morning meeting on the slides that you would get, but we call it seal time. So I've already edited and changed all that. So we're just going to do a quick little say your name, what your favorite candy is, since we're doing a sweet theme, and everyone will say good morning to that person. Then I will go into the routine of our carpet and couch expectations, how we sit, why we come, how do we move to it, and then our little shine on the carpet. All of this, again, I really just copied from my previous last year's slideshow, and that's what I'm doing in here. We'll go over voice levels, our class rules, our consequences, and then we will go into our first read aloud. It is not linked on the template because YouTube videos disappear all the time and I didn't want to have to risk you not having that. I have it linked in here for myself so that well, I have this book, so I'll probably read this book, but for my grade level, if they don't have it, they can click on it and it will take them to YouTube to listen to the story. We have some questions to talk about the book, and then they will do the All About Me poster. And then if we have time, they can share with the person sitting beside them, and then we'll talk about it. All of this is editable, so if there's something you don't like, you can take any of that out. Then we go into lining up. This is my own personal lineup sign. Hallway and restroom. This is what we established for our school. These are just blank. It actually doesn't even say hallway. It's again says procedures, and you adjust it however you want. I think it says possible procedures to teach. And I do have a time here. This is not our time. This is something we'll decide as a grade level, but on specific like things that have to happen at a certain time, I put the time on the slide. So if I'm like get there early, or it just is a visual reminder to me during that first week of school when things are a little hectic. And then I'll go over our snack routine, and we will watch first aid jitters as they're eating and kind of chat about the book. Okay, then I have my student numbers. This is covered up because it's actually my class from last year's student numbers. I just left it, when I copied it, I left it so that it would be easy to edit my new class. And then I'm giving them their numbers because the next thing we're doing is putting their supplies away. So last year I just kind of had one slide that just said supplies to remind me to do it, and I just did it with the class. This year I went more explicit because I realized last year I needed some visuals. So you again won't have this in your slides, but I just took all these images from the internet, from Google, and based on the way I do supplies in my classroom. So the first thing is I will be collecting these, and I'll just have them put it on the back counter. And then I provide mine with these little pouches, and they put one glue stick and 2 pencils in. And then they will put any of their crayons and anything, because a lot of times they just show up with stuff like this. So all of that's going to go in their pencil box. Then I have these bigger bags that I store. I reuse them each year, and that's where all of their extra supplies, their extra pencils, their extra glue sticks, usually their extra dry erase markers, but we took that off our supply list this year. So all that's going to go in there. We'll put those away, and then finally they will put their 3 composition notebooks, their filled pencil box, and whatever headphones they brought into their cubby, and that should be all of their supplies. And then related arts, which could be special areas for you. I don't know my schedule yet, so you'll see music on every day. That's our time. And then just sort of what they're expected to do in our little Star Celebration for Good report from related arts. When we come back, we're going to do a find someone who. Anytime you see this in the slideshow, that means it is included in the lesson plan. So you get the slides, you get the find someone who, the coloring pages for each grade level, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. You get the All About Me poster, and then we're going into recess. We go to recess, and then we have lunch. So I just already have my recess expectations, sort of our set leader and me expectations, and then how we do lunch. And then when we get back, since it's like recess, then lunch and restroom break and coming back. So we're going to go into writing to kind of calm everybody, get them back focused. So we're going to write about our summer. This comes in the pack too. And then we'll go into our announcements. We'll probably start because we start dismissal early on the first day. And so then we'll talk about that. We'll talk about pack up, dismissal, and then we'll do a sort of wrap up. There are reflection pages that come in the resource, but I think we're just going to talk about this, especially on the first day. And then we're doing the candy jar. So one of the things I wanted it to create as we went through the week was something that they could put into their leadership notebooks. And so on the first day, they will get a candy jar. And then each day, they're going to add a different token or badge to the jar. So the first day, they're going to get the candy. It just says ready to unwrap the year, because each day has a different theme. So like the next day is mixing up are learning or something like that. I originally created the adventure theme before I switched to the candy theme. And so the sort of badges really goes really well with the adventure theme. But it's like collecting an adventure, it's filling out their adventure map. And so they get an explorer, a compass, the grid, the independence key, and then the puzzle for each day. One is print, you have color and then black and white available. And I colored these, but I think probably to save time, I'm going to print them for my students on colored copy paper. So that wraps up day 1. So day 2, I have not gone in and personally changed everything for myself. I have adjusted it to fit my school. So like the lunch and recess, I'll have to go in and like add my own personal procedures and things like that. So we have our morning message. On this day, they are doing a time capsule page, which is included. I'll show you that in the next slides. We'll do our seal time greeting, and then we'll talk about what a time capsule is. And this is the time capsule page they will have filled out that morning. We're going to save that and their writing that they're doing in this afternoon on day 2, which is a letter to their future self, and we'll put it in a box and we'll save it for the end of the year, where they'll open it up at the end of the year and look at how they were at the beginning of the year. And so that's what all this is explained. And then all this is included in the slides. And then this part is not, this is our Leader in Me. I have it linked to the Leader in Me website where it reviews the different habits. So we're reviewing habit 1 and habit 2 that day. And then we'll listen to Enemy Pie and talk about being friends. And then they will play a get to know you dice game. I have 2 versions of this. One is the dice, which is the one I do because it's easy to pass one dice out to each table. They roll the dice, ask questions about themselves. There's also a Jenga version if you want to take that an extra step. And then a lot of the procedures like lining up, restroom, recess, lunch, I keep those in the slides all week long because those are the big procedures that we want to make sure that we're nailing every time. So we have all of that again, our snack, and then the read aloud is donate our classmates with some talking points at the end. And then we're going to get into goal setting. Setting goals is a huge thing in Leader in Me. So this actually links to the Leader in Me website. I called it goal setting in the slides instead of WIGs, which is wildly important goals, which is a Leader in Me term, because goal setting is good for any teacher, whether you're a Leader in Me program or not. So all of this stuff is included. So they'll set a goal for their year, and it says a recipe for a sweet year. So they'll set their goal and the 3 strategies or steps to achieve their goal and what they'll do to celebrate. And then we'll talk about I just included a lot of questioning to kind of help their thinking along the lines. Again, all of that's included. Our related arts, math. This actually in my plans on TPT is scheduled for day 1, but based on our own personal schedule, we were not able to get to math. So I have moved math to day 2. I just copied the slides over and didn't have any issues. So math day 2 is my life in numbers. And so they get this blank document, and in the slides, we walk through how to do each of the different steps. But essentially it would look like this when they're done. They'll have a block, and then they'll draw shapes and things to represent different things about themselves. So like they draw how many balloons is their birthday month. And we did 4 stars because we're in 4th grade. Or I think it's smiley faces for how many pets you have, or heart if you don't have a pet. So different things like that. This makes a really cute hallway display or hang it in your classroom. So the printable has the description of how to do each box, but it's also included in the slideshow. So each one tells them what to do or tells the teacher what to do. I think personally, I'll probably put a blank one under my document camera and just do it with them to make it a little bit easier. And then they'll have time to color it at the end. And then we have recess and lunch. And then writing is a letter to their future self. So they're going to write a letter to themselves at the end of 4th grade. or I have 3rd and 5th available as well. So what they think this year is going to be about, and we're going to put that with our time capsule pages and look at them away for the year and look at them at the end of the year. Then we are doing the tower challenge. This is at a different spot in the plans on TPT but I had to move things around based on our schedule. So that's the nice thing, is you can just drag and drop the slides wherever you want to go. So the tallest tower or the tower with the rubber band and string. I have both options. I left them both in here because I don't know what my teammates want to do. We normally have done just the tallest tower, but I heard, or they did that in our STEAM class last year. And so I think I'm going to try the string one this year. All that's there. And then we'll do the candy jar for their day 2 and the wrap up for the day and go into our pack up, announcements, dismissal, all that goodness. So day 3, it follows very similar formats, just different books and activities each day. So I'm going to go a little bit quicker now that you've kind of got the idea of what we're doing. So they have their morning work on their page, which I believe it says mystery picture. So let's see. It's color by code. So I'll need to adjust that. We're doing color by code. So there's addition, multiplication, and division. I did it for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I'm including, I think multiplication is in our copies, but if the other teachers want a different version, because by the 3rd day, you kind of know your class. Okay, so day 3 is all about like growth mindset and things like that. So we'll start with our seal time greeting. We're going to go into our habit review, and then we're reading the magical yet with some questions to talk about afterwards. And then they're going to do a growth mindset sort. So they will have a list of different, like, I don't want to try because I might make a mistake. I always mess up. I'll try a different strategy next time. Like all these different phrases after reading the book of if they think it is a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. So they're going to sort that, probably have them either do it with partners or with their group. And then they will work on their own yet lettering, where they will write down different things of things they personally can't do yet, things they can't do yet at school for education, and things they can't do yet with technology, as far as like reaching a game level or creating their own YouTube channel, different things like that that 4th graders really love. And so I have an example. So it's just like a back handspring or babysitting or riding a horse, baking a cake. Those are things I can't personally do yet. Or writing in cursive, doing long division, fractions, reading 20 books. And then technology, type fast, edit videos, beat my game, start a YouTube channel, like just sort of ideas of what to fill in for that. There's always some sort of discussion questions at the end of each activity. And then we go into our typical snack and restroom break, what to do with a problem, read aloud, that all kind of go with that same growth mindset theme. And then school expectations, they are going to, because by 4th grade and even 3rd grade, I think could do this. They know how to behave in each location in our school. And so having the students sort of create a poster of the expectations. So that's what this sort of is. We're going to talk about the different areas that we want to represent and how to be safe and respectful and responsible in each of those locations. And then they'll work on a poster with their group. This, it is a leader in me activity, but it's something that anybody can do, is just give each group a different area, you know, like how do we behave in the playground, the cafeteria, the hallway, the bus, the library. And then we have related arts. And then we go into math. Now, the Math About Me page works for everybody. The rest of the math activities are obviously depends on the grade level. So in every download, I have a 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade version of each of these activities. So the ones you see on the slides right now are going to be for 4th grade. 5th grade bumps it up a little more. 3rd grade, I knocked it down a little more. But those slides are all included, so you'll just delete the slide you don't need. I think that's what I say in the notes. Yeah. And it's all editable, so if you don't like how I did it, you can change it. So we're just reviewing place value and the value of each digit. This is going to be word form, expanded form, and standard form. So just have some review for each of that, and then they will do the matching where they match the word form, the standard form, and the expanded form together. And then we have recess and lunch. They are going for writing on the third day. They're going to write a story about someone who struggles to do something and can't do it yet and eventually learns how to do it. And then we talk about grit. This is not included in the download because I found this story after I created the TPT resource. But Ronnie and his grit is a good story I found on YouTube if you want to include that in this grit challenge lesson. So basically teaching grit, not giving up, perseverance. And then they are going to have this really difficult maze that they're going to work with a partner to try and get through. The goal is for it to be difficult, so it is quite difficult. I'm going to give them a certain amount of time to work on it, sort of based on our needs, and talk about how we can stay, positive mindset, and then end our day with our gumdrop grit and our reflection and pack up the same old. Day 4 is the mystery page, which I think I'm going to need to change. So day 4 is all about working independently and how to set them up for independence. So the place value mystery picture, third grade's 3 digits, and it's just a gumball machine. So 4th grade is 4 and 5 digits, and 5th grade is 4 and 5 digits, but I also included, some decimals for 5th grade. Okay, so that is morning work. That'll be on their desk for the morning. We'll do our habit review, and then they're going to read about Your Elastic Fantastic Brain, which is a really cool book. I am excited. I haven't used this book before with my students, so I'm excited to use it with them, and it's all about how your brain develops and grows and how you can stretch it and shape it and cause it to work better. And so then we go into some brain teasers. I have them all on the slides, but I also have little task cards. So if you wanted to make stations around your classroom, you could totally do that with this activity. And I might do that, have them rotate, and then we could go over all the answers at the end with the slides. I haven't quite figured that out yet. That's something I'll probably decide the week of. I have logic riddles, pattern challenges, visual puzzles, word puzzles, and some would you rathers. So it's all about growing, stretching your brain. So some logic puzzles, and then some patterns and shape patterns too. And then some visual puzzles. What I love about these kind of visual puzzles is that there's no right answer. There could be several things. The pizza couldn't belong because it's not a shape like the other ones, but it could also be that the square doesn't belong because it's the only one with right angles. If a student can justify their answer, I would take it. And then some what's missing picture, and I have 2 of those, I think. And then some word puzzles like head over heels and too funny. And then of course some would you rathers. So that we go through our normal restroom and snack procedure. Jambari Jumps is our snack time read aloud with some reflection questions. And then very similar to the school expectations lesson from the day before, we're doing the classroom expectations, where we'll talk about different areas of the classroom. Now that they have been in the classroom, this is day 4, so they've been in the classroom almost 4 days, they can answer or complete these posters a little bit easier. Our related arts. Math is going to be a math logic puzzle. My plan for this, because most kids don't do activities like this, or in my experience don't have a lot of background knowledge of how to do a logic puzzle, is I'm going to do it with them. I'll probably have them solve the problems at the top, maybe independently or with a partner, and then we'll kind of work through this on our own or together. And then we're going into place value review, and this is where they're doing place value riddles with their group. And again, it's all differentiated depending on the grade level you teach. We go to recess and lunch. Writing that day is they're working on a personal promise of how they will be a good friend, how they'll keep going when things get hard, sort of building upon all the different skills we've been talking about this week. Grit, being a good friend, reaching your goals, being a leader in the classroom, different things like that. And this activity I'm really excited about. I haven't done before, and so I think it will go well, and I think it will be useful throughout the year. But we're going to talk about time management. Putting first things first is one of the 7 habits. They know, like, hey, I'm supposed to work then play. I should do my homework before I, get on video games. They know different things like that. But sometimes I think they have difficult time understanding, like, what do I need to do first in the classroom? Like, when I have, like, which work should I do first before the other work type of thing. So I'm excited about this because I think this will kind of help with some of those situations. So we'll talk about time management, why it matters, and then they're going to decide which situation is very important, urgent, I need to do this right now. Something that is important, but maybe not urgent, it's important and I need to do it soon. Or maybe I need to get it done, but it doesn't have to happen right now. Or something that just I don't need, it's not important at all. So they will get this little matrix, and then they will get these situations that they will sort with a partner or group. So they finishing classwork before it's due today. Like, where on the chart do you think that would go? Or feeling like you need to be first in line. Practicing your multiplication facts for fluency. Like, that's important, but is it urgent? Does it need to happen right this very minute? Studying for a test that's happening next week. Helping a friend with their work before finishing your own work. So all of these situations are, I think, very common in our classrooms, and I think will help them sort of decide that, yes, I need to get these things done, but when do I need to get them done? So, like, turning in a missing assignment's pretty urgent. Getting ready for a fire drill in the alarm rings, but studying for a test that's happening next week. It's important, but it's not what we need to do today, type of thing. And then things that don't need to be happening at all right now because you have other work to be doing. So I'm excited about this activity. And then, of course, some wrap up discussions, and then we'll glue in our thing, reflect on our 4th day, do our pack up. So day 5, wrapping it all up. They are doing what for morning work? A word search. It's a family friends word search. And then we have seal time. We'll review our last 2 habits. And then we're reading our class as a family and creating what we call our mission statement. That is Leader and Me language, but I believe on the template it's called our class promise. And then we more than likely will have a fire drill this day. If not, I'll just move it to whatever slide it is. And then all this is the same for us. Our read aloud is 1. It's a really cute read aloud, and I really liked it. And then some sort of discussions. Basically, red is always mean to blue, and 1 stands up to red. So sort of standing up to the person that's being mean to others. And then we're going to create our class puzzle because we all fit together type of thing. Because we're all a family, we're all unique, which goes along with the sort of the one book, but we all fit together. You'll want some that go horizontal. So I'm going to ask some of my students to make theirs horizontal instead of vertical. But I also thought if I don't have enough, I'll just print some puzzle pieces on like Astrobright's paper and write some like words that describe our class on there, or from our class promise mission statement. So when I hang it on the wall, it'll kind of look good. Discussion questions, then we have related arts, and then math is word problems. They're all sweet themed or adventure themed, and again, they're adjusted for each grade level. Writing that day is a reflection of the first week, and then we're doing a unity chain where they will either write a promise or write their name or something on a strip of paper, and we'll put it together as a chain and hang it around the classroom. I have several options up here of how you could do it, and I included one where they could fill in the blank. And we'll finish up our final candy jar, reflect on our last thing, pack it up, and go home for the weekend. So I know that was a lot. I shared a ton with you, but that's what the first week of school is like. There's a lot going on. There's a lot you need to cover: procedures, routines, team building, community building, get to know you, like all that. It needs to be in on the first week. I'm glad I can finally say you can have these exact plans without the Leader in Me stuff, with the slides, with the activities, with everything you need to get started. The only thing I don't have in there are the procedures, because they're your procedures. It just depends. I have ideas of what you could teach for those procedures, but other, like, you kind of have to figure that out on your own. I have it available in my TBD store. I have a suite theme, and if suite is not your thing, I have an adventure theme, explorer theme. So I will link both of those down below so that you can have your first week pretty much done, because it will have everything you need. It includes editable plans. So if you want to create plans like this, where you can go in and change it how you need to, I have that. The slides are all editable. Obviously, the only thing that's not editable are the printables. Let me show you. So here's everything you get in the file with the lesson plan. So you get the 3rd through 5th grade math printables. I separated it so it would just be easy for you to choose whatever grade you have when it comes to the math. The editable components basically are just the different pictures to add to the slideshows based on your grade level. So it's not actual, they're not actually editable. They're just images to add to the slideshow. The candy badges I put in a separate file. Oh, these are just the extra ones, because once you make the copy that you'll get an extra student. So I just included one set, so for that one extra student. And then your printables for each day are included. So, if you only have a couple days of school and you don't need all 5, they're there. Each activity comes with like everything you need, information, 3rd, 4th, 5th, that's all the coloring pages, the word search. The All About Me activity comes with all of like detailed information of what you should do for each of those. So if you're a brand new teacher, like, this is exactly what you would need. Here's the All About Me, Math About Me, and this is the instructions. But again, it's all on the slides, so it's all there. And then the lesson plans have an overview of the week. I did include, if you are also a Leader in Me school, which habit goes with what activity, so that you would have that. The only thing I don't have is the links to the website, because not every Leader in Me school has access to the website. Some do, some don't. So I just figured this would be the easiest way so you could figure that out. This is all the templates to the slideshows, plus you have, editable lesson plans in Google Docs and the weekly overview. So this is editable if you need to move things around in Google Docs. And then these are the daily lesson plans, and that there's also a Google Docs available to switch things around. It's very similar to what I do, except we have timestamps and I don't have the details. So all that's there. Plus there is additional, like if you don't like the books I shared, I gave you other ideas for different books. I gave you how to use those books. I even gave you crafts and snacks. If you want to go the extra mile with the theme, it's all there. So that is the sweet treat theme. The adventure theme is set up the same way. So it has all the same components. It's just adventure themed based. So like I said, that's all linked below. Both of those, adventure, candy theme, have your first week plans done for you. Also, make sure you've subscribed and headed into my classroom tomorrow to start setting up, and I will be bringing you guys along.